Let's talk.
Welcome to this video. My name is Christian from Beyond Premiere, and we have Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 7. Explained by the director, he provided some information on the episode, as well as a small tease on what we can expect from Episode 8. With only 6 episodes left in the season, I got a bad feeling about this. Could not be more fitting for Howard, and now this applies to Jimmy and Kim. In a shocking turn of events, we find out that Howard is shot by Lalo. The director of this episode was in an interview where he said the following: Lalo spends the entirety of the episode surveilling Gus' laundromat. Why does he decide to pivot to Jimmy's and Kim's apartment? He gets the information he needs in Germany and comes back knowing that there's a super lab being built inside a laundromat. So his plan is to go in there, and he calls Hector Salamanca just to let him know, but he hears a clicking on the line. There's a phone tap. Once he hears that, he flips out and knows his original plan is ruined. But he knows that if Hector's line is being tapped, he knows Gus knows he's alive. So he goes back and he tells Hector that he cannot find proof and has no idea where the secret laundromat is. He needs to come up with an alternate plan, but we don't know exactly what that is yet. We have to wait for the next episode to see. Now, a couple of episodes back, Kim learns that Lalo is still alive, but doesn't tell Jimmy. Why is that? Now, Mike tells Kim, the reason I'm telling you is that you're made of sterner stuff. When he told Jimmy the plans last time, he freaked out and hid out with Kim in a hotel. On some level, Kim wants to keep the scam going. If she admits the truth to Jimmy about Lalo, then they're going to close up shop because Jimmy's going to want to go into hiding and protect Kim. It's just better for Jimmy not to know so he doesn't panic. Now, a deleted scene. Was their plot always going to play out like this, or were there other options to explore in the writer's room? He said, we had probably a dozen different directions with this plot. The one that sticks in my mind the most involved, the skateboarder twins from Season 1, Episode 1. We were going to trick Howard that he accidentally run into one of them with his car, send him over a railing and kill him. But it was going to be a switch where one twin goes over the side of the rail, while the other twin was already laying down at the bottom, all bloody and twisted. We had all these other crazy plots, but we ultimately needed to figure out how Howard couldn't bury himself during the meditation and do enough damage that it makes more sense to settle the Sandpiper suit than to renegotiate. Now the last question is, when it was decided that Howard was going to die? He said, we wrote this episode 2 years ago, so I cannot pinpoint exactly when, but at some point it just felt like something horrible had to happen as a result of the scam. It couldn't just go perfectly for Jimmy and Kim. Maybe they're gonna be found out, or somebody's going to see, or the police are going to find out. And the more we thought about the two worlds colliding, we knew that Lalo doing something very bad to Howard just felt almost inedible. Now, Fabian, who plays Howard, had to say this about the character. The question was, where did you find out that Howard was going to die? They called me before the season even began and told me I could probably make my vacation plans earlier than usual this season. They said, look, we found a hinge that swings the rest of the season open. It reveals a lot and it involves you. But that means you won't be going forward with the second part of the season. They did not tell me the details of how it's going to happen, and I was glad for that. I never known what was going on 3 scripts ahead, and as an actor, I absolutely prefer that because you can only play what's in front of you. Even though I was told it was coming, it's still a surprise to read it on the page, and it was equally a surprise to film it. Something that we love about the season is that when Howard walks in and he says to Kim and Jimmy that he calls them soulless, here's what he had to say about this. I think for him, yes, when you see all the ways that Howard has gone about trying to show them the light, show them the right way to behave, give them an out for their errant ways of behaving. In the end, what conclusion can he come to? In episode 4, his solution is boxing, which is unlike Howard, but he tries it. But he already knows it's not going to work because he goes right from the boxing ring to the private detective. He already has plan B lined up. By the time he gets to the apartment at the end of episode 7, Kim and Jimmy have humiliated him. They strip him naked in his own office. You know he's a benefit of being who he is, a silver spoon, white guy, all of those sort of things. But at the end he plays the rules, and Kim and Jimmy do not at all. And so that is soulless, and I think he does believe it. Howard confesses Chuck's dead, which the audience knows it was not even his fault. They know that Jimmy sat there and had an opportunity to take that guilt of Howard instead. I think a lot of what Howard says in that final scene is some of the questions that maybe are percolating around around the audience brains as well. Like, what are you doing this? What's going on? We want Jimmy and Kim to go off and live up near Santa Fe and have a couple of kids, and the fact that we know that doesn't incur is part of the wonderful dread of watching the show in the first place. Moving into the EP, who explained the following. The question was the return of Lalo kind of overshadowed the fact that Jimmy and Kim's scheme went off perfectly. Jimmy will get his cut of the Sandpiper settlement, but does that even matter now? He says, yeah, there's this dark cloud hanging over all that. The Sandpiper settlement, I don't think that's on their minds right now, after what happened at the end of the episode. We spent more time on this scam than any other scam in the history of the show, showing every step. And we did something that we do not always do, which is to keep some information from the audience, like that private detective being on Jimmy's and Kim's side, as opposed to being Howard's. This was a huge twist. That was the biggest thing we hid from the audience. It was impressive how Howard deduced the whole thing and explained it perfectly to Cliff. Pretty rationally to Cliff, all things considered, but at that point it was too far gone. He says, yeah, that was also one of the tricky things we had to do. We had to think how they do the scam, and we know Howard's going to figure it out, but the results have to be in a way that it ruins the Sandpiper settlement. Even if Cliff believes Howard and everything that he says, it does too much damage to the Sandpiper case. So it's better to settle now, as opposed to going back in and refighting. Schweikart knew he had those guys over a barrel, so he took advantage. Going to episode 8 teaser, he says the following. So now we have just 6 episodes left, and a whole lot of loose ends left to tie up and connect it all back to Breaking Bad and Gene in Omaha. What can you tease about this final run of episodes? He says, I'm basically not allowed to say anything, but I'm very, very proud of them. We do not spell a lot of things out for the audience, so hopefully everything ties together in a way that is satisfying for the audience. So when we get to the end of season 6, the Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul of it, and the Gene world all makes sense. Oh, I cannot wait for that. So this was a quick video, but what are your thoughts on all the information provided, as well as the ending explained? And thank you so much for watching. My name is Christian from Beyond Premiere, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.